And now, live on Facebook. Okay, starting. All right. First, I'm going to share something with you that reminded me of the importance of helping 2-year-old having that be a happy time instead of a terrible time. So let's see. I'm going to share what came into my life. Oh, no, I think I can do it like this. Okay. All right. Now, let me share the first thing. I came across this, and it reminded me how important the time of the 2-year-old is. In 1961, Lay's potato chips introduced a television commercial challenging viewers with the now legendary slogan, "Bet you can't just eat one." This iconic slogan tapped into a key failing of most human beings, a lack of willpower. Willpower, the ability to self-regulate behavior and emotions, is one of the most studied topics in social science. When psychologists surveyed 1 million people regarding what they considered to be their greatest personal strengths, those topping the list were honesty, kindness, humor, creativity, and bravery. Self-control was dead last. When asked about their personal failings, however, a lack of self-control was number one. Ironically, psychologists consider the two key predicators of positive life outcomes to be intelligence and self-control. So far, scientists have found no way to permanently increase, scientists anyway, to permanently increase intelligence. They do, however, know how to increase self-control. According to many studies, improving self-control is the surest way to create a better life. So that's what I found recently. And it made me immediately think of 2-year-olds, because building their willpower is what they're doing. That's what makes it difficult. And connecting their willpower with their intelligence is also what they're doing. couple of ideas how you can say yes to your 2-year-old so the 2-year-old no is no longer a thing. I recently heard someone use that term, that their 2-year-old no. And a lot of 2-year-olds use that because they are told no a lot. And there's definitely power behind that no. So they use it too because developing their willpower is what they're doing. But it's not necessary. I know, because with my first daughter, I had things set up. So I don't know if it's good or not, but that's how it was. It was set up so that no wasn't something that she heard, and it wasn't something that she used. If I remember children, older children coming and wanting to do this or that with her things and with her, and she was always sure, yes, yes, yes. No problem for her. So it's no in a 2-year-old is not necessarily built in. Okay, now let's see if this works. This was what I was going to share first. Let's share from the beginning. This was obviously episode 11 of Raising Happy Kids Zoom show. It's the last of the Guardian stories, but I think the follow-up is going to be created sometime soon. That's how it feels to me. It's kind of popping its head up. Okay, when creating harmony is up to you. Let's just, I haven't done this for a long time. I really like it. So during this 1-hour Zoom show, I focus on sharing tips and lessons on the one rule to raising happy kids. Each episode has at least one example of the one rule in action, demonstrating how it helps you raise a happy child. Then we have Q&A and discussion. That's when we have guests. When I talk about raising happy kids or creating harmony with kids, I bring up the one rule. The one rule equals agreement. Agreement equals harmony. Using the one rule means you find agreement. That's the rule. You find a solution that everyone likes. You found agreement. You found harmony. Knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. In any situation where there are differences that might lead to conflict between you and your kids, use the one rule. And it also got pointed out by one of my regular guests, Atul, that the one rule can be used for planning things too. It doesn't always just have to be because there's a potential conflict that you're avoiding. But if there are potential conflicts, you can avoid them with the one rule. I learned this strategy from 3-year-old children. I was teaching them a complex conflict resolution strategy, actually intended for adults, and they taught me this. So don't think you're in for a rough time. It's simple, it's easy, it's powerful and effective. It works if you use it. In today's slideshow, we explore a situation where creating harmony is up to you because the other person is too young to be able to participate. Jenny and Pam were walking Timmy home, as usual. You're right, Jen, said Pam. I'll bet Kathy can help me with this. I've just been dreading it. I totally forgot what Kathy said about how we can use the one rule with 2-year-olds. but that it is different than what we do with the older kids. Remember, we can use it with grumpy adults too, laughed Jenny. It works really well with grumpy adults, said Timmy. We have a neighbor who used to be grumpy. I've been using the one rule for 2-year-olds with him when I have to talk with him. Now, he isn't mean. Sometimes he doesn't say anything, but at least he isn't mean. See, Pam, said Jenny, I'm sure Kathy can help you. Yeah, I'm sure she can. But Dean is a real terrible too. No one can stand to be around him. And I got volunteered to take care of him while my cousin is visiting. You got volunteered? Don't you use the one rule at home? Asked Jenny. We usually do, but this was a kind of family emergency. They couldn't reach me to ask me about it. Mom said that with all my experience with the Guardians, she was sure I'd agree and do a good job. Would you agree? Asked Jenny. I guess. My cousin really needs the help, and I'm the best one to do it. I was letting this get to me. I'm glad you reminded me about talking with Kathy. Maybe that's why this is happening, so I can learn about taking care of 2-year-olds using the one rule. I just hope it works. Then I could get really good paying jobs babysitting 2-year-olds when I'm a little older. If it works, it could be my specialty. Now that's the way to think, Pam, said Jenny. This could turn out great. My mom should be home if you want to talk with her, said Timmy. I may as well, said Pam. The sooner I feel good about this, or at least better, the more I'll like it. I gotta get some water. As they got to Timmy's house, Mom, shouted Timmy. Pam needs to talk with you. Kathy came out on the porch. Hi, girls. Come give me a hug, Timmy, and tell me what's happening. Timmy ran up the stairs to hug his mom. Pam has to babysit a terrible two, and she really needs some help. What's this all about, Pam? Asked Kathy. Kathy had become the coach of the Guardians right from the beginning, when Pam and Jenny first walked Timmy home. She taught them the one rule and did weekly sessions with them where they practiced using the one rule. Do you have some time to coach me, Kathy? Asked Pam. Yes, said Kathy. Let's have a snack first. I was just fixing something for Timmy and me. Are you girls hungry? Yes, the girls exclaimed. As they ate, Pam explained what had happened in her family and that Jen had suggested that Kathy could help her. I'm sure we can figure out a good plan for you, Pam, said Kathy. I'll tell you what I've learned about interacting with 2-year-olds. Yeah, that's what I was remembering you said about working with grumpy adults, said Jenny. That's right, and that sure works, said Timmy. Timmy had become so confident during his time with the Guardians. Okay, let's get started, said Kathy. I'm going to tell you what you have to do differently with 2-year-olds or grumpy adults when it comes to the one rule. I am also going to tell you why the terrible twos develop and how to avoid them. Sound good? Sure, anything that helps, said Pam. Soon after a child is through the terrible twos, you won't have to do this. But for 2-year-olds and really anyone younger, like toddlers and babies, you have to be the one to find the harmony. They cannot participate any more than they already are. They are already in harmony with their developmental blueprint, and that takes all of their attention. What is that? Their developmental blueprint, asked Pam. It's what is built into all of us so that we figure out how to move our bodies like walking. We learn the language where we're born. We learn so much to help us in our lives, and we learn all these things at about the same time and in the same order. That's how we know about the developmental blueprint. I'll tell you briefly what we know about 2-year-olds and their development and why it seems that they are difficult or even terrible. 2-year-olds are developing their willpower. They are making themselves into people who know what they want, who know how to get what they want, and who are determined to keep going until they get what they want. What makes this so difficult for those around them is when they're determined to do and have things that other people do not want them to do or have. That sure sounds like Dean, said Pam. I'm not surprised, said Kathy, because of what you have said about him. To be able to work with him, you have to pay attention to him. As a person at this stage of development, he must practice wanting and being successful. He has no choice. Young children have to do what their developmental blueprint directs them to do. So in a way, he already is in harmony with his developmental blueprint, which guides his development. Harmony, then why is he such a brat, asked Pam. He isn't necessarily in harmony with those around him, so it's up to them to get into harmony with him, said Kathy. Get into harmony with a brat, asked Pam. He's only considered a brat because the adults around him do not understand what he is doing and do not know how to work with him. It can make all the difference if people work with him instead of against him, explained Kathy. So how do I work with him, asked Pam. First, it helps if you find harmony inside of yourself, said Kathy. How do I do that? Asked Pam. There are various ways. We have a whole training on this. Before he gets there, you could give yourself a timeout. A timeout? Why do I need a timeout? Asked Pam. Just to have some time to yourself, doing something you enjoy, like listening to music or reading or dancing, or writing a list of things you're glad about in your life, or even just sitting quietly and just paying attention to your breath going in and out of your nostrils, or listening to an app on your phone like dripping water or central air. With the first two, the idea is to get you focusing on what you appreciate about your life. These help you feel the good feelings of harmony inside of you. With the last two, it is to stop your thoughts. This helps you get in touch with the source of harmony inside of you, explained Kathy. I think I'll start with writing a list of things I'm glad about, said Pam. It's good to do this every day, to make it a practice, said Kathy. Maybe we can tell all the guardians about this, said Jenny. I want to do it. That's a great idea, Jen, said Pam. I agree, Pam, said Kathy. You can help me with this, can't you, Mom? Asked Timmy. We can do this together, can't we, Mom? Sure we can, Timmy, said Kathy. So what do I do next? Asked Pam. It's very important to remember that your work is to put yourself in harmony with Dean, since he can't get into harmony with you. Realize that he is doing important developmental work and do your best to think yourself into harmony with him. Make sure you keep feeling good about what's going on between you. That is you being in harmony with him. Pay close enough attention to him while you're with him to notice when he first chooses to do something. He needs to keep practicing wanting something and doing his best to achieve it. If you notice he is choosing something you do not want him to choose, when he has first made a choice, it's easier to get him to choose something else, something that you feel good about. Once he's become determined to do or have something, it's easier to go along with him and make sure that it goes smoothly, explained Kathy. What did you mean by think yourself into harmony with him? Asked Pam. Let's say you didn't realize that he had chosen to take the TV remote into another room. Since he's already doing it, he's being determined. So to think yourself into harmony, you might think, I'm going to follow him, and when he's done, I'll make sure to put the remote back, but where he can't get it again. So you think that, and you do that. Now, if you see that he is going to put it in the dog's water bowl, you have to interrupt him. Just do your best to make it an enjoyable experience for both of you, instead of an unhappy one. So besides finding harmony inside yourself, paying close attention is one of the most important things. Doing your best to create harmony with the other person is another important part of this. I just had a thought, said Pam. What if we came over here, at least for the first time? Then I could see how to do things. Yes, Mom, said Timmy. Let's do that. I have toys he could play with. That should work out, said Kathy. Just let me know in advance so I can reschedule coaching calls if I have any at that time. I think that I will suggest this as our practice during our next Guardians meeting. It can help in all kinds of situations, even with parents, really with anyone who isn't familiar with the one rule. We all need to know these skills if we're going to introduce the one rule into our families and communities. Great idea, Kathy, said Pam. Yes, said Jenny and Timmy. Okay, glad you're here. All right. Let's see. Okay. I went through my work and picked out certain things focusing on 2-year-olds. So here's the next thing I found. Following their interests is essential for 2-year-olds. Children of this age do activities for an inner purpose, to develop and coordinate their intelligence, their will, and their movements, to integrate them as human beings. You'll notice that sometimes they want to move heavy or awkward things. However difficult or beyond their abilities the task seems to be, let them do these tasks, because it's these challenges that bring about concentration and help your child integrate their personality. Helping them become a person who knows what they want, how to manifest it, and has the perseverance to carry through. Don't you agree that those are valuable qualities and abilities to have? Daily life activities that your child has seen you do all of their life are familiar to them. They make sense. They understand them. They are perfect activities for them to use to integrate their personality, to tie together their intelligence, their will, and their physical abilities. Encourage your child to do tasks that attract them as soon as they show interest. Their work may not be up to your expectations of perfection, but they can improve with practice. You can offer them jobs that are simple and specific, with clear physical evidence of proper completion. For example, all their clean clothes put in their drawer, all their toys picked up off the floor and put in their places on the shelf, the hammer put back in the toolbox, a small bag of groceries carried from the car to the kitchen. This enables them to judge for themselves whether they have completed the task satisfactorily. It helps your 2-year-old when you provide small versions of what they see you use. Sponges, you can cut theirs to fit their hand. A broom, if you use one. Dustpan, brush, watering can, window squeegee, bucket, tools. The tools used for whatever they're interested in doing. Sometimes they may want to use your larger versions for the purpose of developing strength and coordination. Notice what interests them, what they're eager to do. Provide opportunities for them to have as many of the desired experiences as possible. Besides developing their willpower and integrating their personality, these may indicate talents to be developed or skills to be acquired for the optimum development of their potential, even forming useful habits. Do your best not to interfere when your child is doing a loved activity or any activity that seems to involve them in deep concentration. That means when they are so intent on what they're doing that they're not really aware of what else is going on. That's deep concentration. These times of concentration, times of focus, are essential in the development of an integrated personality. Remember, that is someone who knows what they want, who knows how to manifest it, and who has the commitment, the determination, the perseverance to carry through. Don't you agree that those are valuable qualities and abilities to have? Oh, cool. All right. I thought this was going to have an activity in it, but obviously not. All right, let's go to the next things. Here, let's look at this. Okay, this is from well, it's like maybe the third version of my first book. This is the main version that's out there. The first one, I know there are people that have it because they bought it back in the day. I have one copy, that's all I know of. I have maybe half a box of my second version. And this I have a few boxes of. So this is Parenting for the New Millennium. And obviously, chapter 11, Transitional Twos, Age of Willpower. It is important to understand that human beings of this age are developing willpower, which, if properly developed, will serve them well for the rest of their lives. Think about that. think about how lack of willpower, self-control was the number one failing people felt in the million people that were interviewed or whatever, however they did it. And if the and the reason that happens is because people don't understand this. They don't know what's going on with the 2-year-old. They don't, so they oppose them so much. They go from an adored toddler, let's say. I would say a lot of toddlers are adored because they're just they're moving around on their own, they're exploring, but they don't have this drive that the 2-year-old has, which is the power of the will behind it. So they easily are turned to other things if they're headed in a direction you don't like. You can stop them at just about any point. And then they turn into these driven people, little tiny driven people doing things that you don't want them to do, but they're driven. And what they're doing is practicing to develop their willpower, coordinate it with their intelligence and their ability to move physically to go for whatever it is they want. And if people could understand what they're doing and how to work with them, like in that story, it would make such a huge difference. I know this. Not only with my own children, but because of our Montessori school, many 2-year-olds, I know this. This is what they're doing, and that's how to help them. It's a way. That's what I say about my work. It's a way. There may be other ways, I don't know, but this works. If you want something simple that works, that's what I provide. Simple, and it works. Okay. All right. Willpower has many important functions. It is the power that motivates us to action. It is the power behind wanting, wishing, and desiring. It is the power to persevere, to carry through. It is the power that keeps us in touch with our inner guidance. 2-year-olds are constantly practicing, doing their best to create well-developed willpower, which is then put at the service of their intelligence. Their intelligence, if unthwarted by adults. I was more into being disturbed by this than I am now. And their intelligence is at the service of their inner guidance. Oh yes, well, that's where the developmental blueprint comes in. I didn't have those terms in that day, but my inner guidance gave me those terms. So then the will is used to want what best serves the developing human being and to persevere on the chosen path. A 2-year-old can be very easy to work with when treated with respect. This whole book is about respect. They need to make as many of their own decisions as they can. Whenever possible, follow their lead. If you want them to make a different choice, encourage them by pointing out what they might find interesting and challenging about your choice. Only a 2-year-old who is frequently thwarted and prevented from making their own decisions might obstinately hold on to a choice no matter what other options are offered. If a 2-year-old is very insistent that he must do something, then it's good, if at all possible, that he fulfills his need. What are the noble qualities of 2-year-olds? They're eager for life, for experiences. They forgive easily. They love easily. They're honest. They're determined to follow their inner guidance. They can experience joy. They can experience wonder. By their actions, they can help guide us on the path of the heart. Suggestions. Interest is the key. Let's encourage a child to do the tasks that attract him or her as soon as he shows interest. I'm just going to read it. I have now, of course, fixed up my wording and stuff, but this was written quite some time ago, and this is how it was done. So his work, I mean, it was in the process of changing even then, but still. His work may not be up to our expectations of perfection, but he can improve with practice. We can offer him jobs that are simple and specific with clear physical evidence of proper completion. Oh, this is where all that comes from. E.g., for example, all his clean clothes put in his drawer, all his toys picked up off the floor and put in their places on his shelf, the hammer put back in the toolbox, a small bag of groceries carried from the car to the kitchen. This enables him to judge for himself whether he has completed the task satisfactorily. Although an adult does activities for an outer purpose, the 2-year-old child does them for an inner purpose. An adult wipes the table because that adult decides the table needs wiping. That's really how it works. The child wipes the table because he needs to wipe the table. He may wipe it for half an hour until whatever in him is satisfied and he no longer needs to wipe it. Let's do our best not to interrupt our child's activity cycles. If we must, we can prepare her by telling her our needs and, if possible, giving her enough time to complete her cycle of activity. Only she can decide when she's done, but she happily accommodates our needs if we are in the habit of accommodating hers. When we notice that our child is making a mistake that is not a harmful one, if possible, we don't correct him right then. We wait until he's finished doing that activity and offer to show him how to do it in a different way. It's also important to use this process when he pronounces a word incorrectly. Tell him the proper word later without referring to his past mistake. For example, I'd like to show you a way to fold those so that they all fit in the box. Or, this is a pineapple. Would you like to eat some pineapple? That's if you notice that they're not saying the word correctly and you would like to provide them with that information. 2-year-olds Often 2-year-olds use quality names incorrectly, such as colors and numbers. They're showing that they're aware of color words and number words and how to use them, not that they know the correct name. Let's handle these mistakes using the procedure described above. Notice what interests her, what she is eager to do. Provide opportunities for her to have as many of the desired experiences as possible. These may indicate talents to be developed or skills to be acquired for the optimum development of her potential. Okay, I'm going to read this again because this is important. And I don't think that everybody knows this. Let's do our best not to interfere when a child is doing a loved activity or any activity that seems to involve him in deep concentration. I.e., specifically, he is so intent on what he's doing that he is not really aware of what else is going on. These times of concentration, times of focus, when the whole person is engaged, are essential to the development of an integrated personality. And I was just thinking they're very helpful in your day-to-day life to have these times of focus where your whole being is focused, whether it's something you do deliberately like meditation, or if it's something, if it's a way of being for you, so that all of your resources are focused on whatever it is you're doing at the moment, even washing dishes. Your whole presence is there, washing dishes. Okay. Let's not do for the child what the child wishes to do for herself. However difficult or beyond her abilities the task seems to be. It is these challenges that bring about concentration and help the child integrate her personality, helping her become a person who knows what she needs, how to manifest it, and has the perseverance to carry through. When a 2-year-old gets hurt, it helps him when we acknowledge that he's hurt. For example, "Oh, you hurt your finger. I'm very sorry you got hurt." They just need to know that we understand what they're feeling. They don't necessarily need us to make a big deal over it, but they can't relate when someone tells them that they're not hurt when they know that they are. That can turn a little hurt into a big one, just to get the point across. If it is a minor hurt, our acknowledgement is often enough for them to let it go and carry on. I've seen that a lot in the past. Okay, here we have some stories that are examples of friendly parents preventing the terrible twos. He wants to dress himself. Miriam has always chosen Leland's clothes and helped him get dressed. It has never been a problem unless he wasn't ready to be dressed. Today, when she entered his room, she found clothes all over the floor with Leland sitting in the middle of them. He had underpants on backwards. He had one blue sock on and one red sock on. He was trying to put on some pants. "Can I help you, Leland?" "No." Miriam stands in the door watching. She knows that it is important to let him do as much for himself as he wants. I have to go into the office today. My boss is having a meeting and grandmother's waiting for you. Would you like me to put your clothes in the drawers? No, I do. Well, I came to help you get dressed. Breakfast is ready. We have to go very soon. I'm dressing, you go. All right, I'll go for now, but I'll be back soon. She knows how important it is to be patient and cooperative if she wants to encourage the development of those qualities in him. There is probably time for him to get dressed, but if he wants to put his clothes back in the drawers, that will have to wait until later. If he takes too long, he will have to have breakfast at his grandmother's. When Miriam returns, Leland has put his pants on, but is not able to fasten them. He's trying to figure out the t-shirt. Leland, may I show you how to fasten your pants? Yes, you show. Miriam shows him clearly and precisely how to fasten the hook and how to pull up the zipper. Would you like me to show you how to put on your shirt? I can show you which hole your head fits in. Yes, he hands her the t-shirt. Miriam holds the t-shirt up against herself so that he can see its shape clearly. Pointing, she says, this hole is for your head. Then she scrunches up the shirt so that he can easily access the neck hole. She hands it to him. I do. He puts his head through the hole and pulls down the t-shirt. Now you go. After a few minutes, Leland comes beaming into the kitchen, shirt on backwards, but fully dressed, except for shoes and ready for breakfast. There is still time for breakfast, but Miriam realizes that she is now going to have to figure time for his self-dressing into her time schedule. She decides not to mention the backward shirt. He is too happy with his accomplishment, and she doesn't want to take a chance of spoiling it for him. She must remember to tell her mother not to mention that his dressing efforts are not perfect. Next time, she can show him how to make sure the front is in the front. After breakfast, Leland, we have to go so I won't be late. When we get home, I'll clean up the kitchen and you can put away your clothes. But now we have to go. Do you want to get your shoes? Yes, I get. Miriam finds it very exciting to watch Leland's changes. Very challenging to be respectfully helpful and very rewarding altogether. Okay, I just was thinking that I might know where the other story is that I was going to, oh, that's, no, I guess it's not in here. I'm going to show you this. I have a course. It was set up in my old website, and I'm going to be shifting it to my new website. I don't know how long that will take, but since I just created a course, it should be pretty easily done. This is Harmony with Your 2-year-old. Here's the pre-work, talking about the developmental blueprint. And maybe it's in here. This is lesson 1 from the 1 rule. Okay. Oh, and here's a quiz. About raising a happy 2-year-old. It has lots of information there. That's lesson 1, is the quiz. Then then it goes through what I was telling you, sharing with you about the Age of Willpower. So important, right? So important. Oh, and here's that story. Happily living with your 2-year-old. Daily life activities, and let's see. Oh, here it is. This was because one of the things you learn in this course is how to demonstrate daily life activities clearly, so that your child can pick up the details and understand what to do and when to do it. So this is what I was looking for. So here it is. Oh, it's so exciting. It's, for me, it's so exciting to have things appear like this, that I think, yes, this is how to do it. This is where it is. Any of those things, and have them come true. I love it. Okay, so this was the t-shirt, and so the next thing that she was going to show him was how to put on your t-shirt so the front is in the front. And even though that story was written long ago, this sequel was not so long ago. Would you like to see how to put on your t-shirt so the front of the t-shirt is in the front of you? They agree. I'll show you how I do it with my t-shirt, and you can do it with your t-shirt. Lay the t-shirts out flat with the fronts up. Now see, this is just one way to do it. There could be many ways to do this, but it'll give you the details of how to go about constructing these little lessons for your 2-year-old. Okay. Show the picture designer words on the front. This is the front. Let's turn our t-shirts over. This is the back. Let's keep it so we can see the back. See the neck hole and the armholes, point them out. I might encourage putting their head in the neck hole first so they don't feel trapped. It depends on the child. Some it won't matter, some it will. Demonstrate how to put your thumb between the layers of cloth at the bottom of the t-shirt, and using all of your fingers on top of the cloth and your thumbs underneath it, you gather the cloth into your hands, scrunching it up. When your fingers get to the neck hole, show how you put it over your head. You want to try? Then show how you find one armhole and put your arm through it. Encourage them to do this. Then show them how you find the other armhole and put your arm through it. I'd say other arm. Invite them to do this. Point out how the picture, design, or words are in the front. Shall we do it again? Repeat until they are done or just want to continue on their own. Okay, so anyway, that is a part of the Harmony with 2-year-olds. Lesson 5, don'ts and why not. Lesson 6, harmoniously correcting errors. We've seen that today. And here's part 2 of that. They all have questions, things to think about, journal on. Lesson 7, help them make choices you like. Very important, that can make all the difference. Lesson 8, respectful self-talk. This is good. One of the most helpful talking skills that you can share with your child, starting from the beginning and especially with your 2-year-old, but even with older children, if you've not already done this, is to help them develop supportive, empowering self-talk. As parents, we have tremendous power over the self-esteem, the feelings of self-worth of our children and their self-talk. In case you don't know what self-talk it is part of our mind chatter that goes on telling us what we believe about ourselves. Do you say or do things that help your kids feel good about themselves? Do you give them approving, supportive, uplifting self-talk? What do they hear you say about them, to them? Do you say, I love you so much? You can do or be anything you want to do or be in your life. You make great choices. I'm so proud of you. You may not have known these facts or been aware of them, but they are very instrumental in how your children are now. Of course, we can and do change our self-talk, our beliefs, but it's better and easier if we form good, self-serving, harmonious beliefs and self-talk from the beginning. Are you helping your children form beliefs like, I'm good at, I make good choices. Everyone likes to help me get what I want. I like to help others get what they want. I can. When I want something, I can get it. I'm great and powerful. I'm sure you can think of wonderful, helpful beliefs you'd like for your child. Okay, this is social activities. Here's an assessment. And the offer to take the quiz again. Okay, now I'm going to stop the screen share. One thing you're going to be hearing about a lot is the affiliate program. That is going to be gaining strength. There are already some affiliates, but things like weekly calls are going to get in there. A lot more information for them to send out is going to be there. And you can earn 50% on a sale. So you might really want to think about this. And on the main website, happykidsco.org, at the bottom of every page is a sign up for the affiliate program. And 2-year-olds is going to be a theme. Got to get this out there. And also stories is another thing. Gonna get those, you're gonna see those, they're gonna be happening. Wish you a great week and enjoy using the one rule.